Welcome to the Sidebar. I'm Sebastian Morales, filling in for Clint Myers-Novak, who's currently defrosting his tongue from a pole outside of Jackson Hole. Welcome. Today we are joined by famed Russian ballet dancer Dimitri, contributor to Dance Magazine with his article Tanets. Dimitri, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And now, Dimitri, you're currently with the New York Ballet in a production of Peer Gynt.
Yes.
Let's get right into it. Tell us, you're choreographing for the first time.
Yes.
Are you nervous?
Yes.
And are you enjoying the city?
Yes.
And how long have you been in the city?
I have been here for 3 months working on the show.
And what's the process like? How many hours a day?
Well, it is a very intense process, I can tell you. It takes a lot of work to put on a full ballet. And we get up at 3 in the morning and we work until breakfast.
And when you say we, you mean yourself, the ballet dancers? Who else is involved in the production?
I also have my mentor, my Omi Yeltsin, along with me. She is one of the most powerful women that I have ever met.
And what is her role?
She makes sure that I do not oversweat everything, and she makes sure that I am kept hydrated and kept on focus in every task I do.
Oh, I understand. Okay, So our intern, the researcher Eddie Harper, just handed me a picture of Omi, and she's holding a stack of towels, and I'm assuming that these stack of towels are to dab your head while you sweat, while you dance.
Yes, she has multiple towels and multiple jugs of water that she carries on her hips on a belt. It's a utility belt, and she follows me around as I dance.
And
dabs.
And Omi needs to be light on her feet as well, because when you're dancing, she's dancing with you, and when you sweat, she needs to dab as she dances. Now, tell me a little bit about Omi's background, because she's much older than you.
Yes, she grew up in Russia like me, and she had a very hard early life. She was under the years of Stalin, and so she had to learn very much how to move quickly from all of the people who were trying to get her, because she was a revolutionary in her day.
And she's nicknamed the Fleeing Fox.
She is very, very flighty.
So she's very fast. Now, looking at the picture, she's anywhere from 40 to 80.
She does not age.
And she weighs anywhere from 100 to 300 pounds.
She does not change body shape.
She doesn't gain weight. Now,
No.
Tell me, you have a specific ballet diet that you adhere to. You're very regimented about this diet. And before we get into the article, now I just want to say that on the current issue, of Dance Magazine in Tanets, you're essentially chronicling your process from inception of Peer Gynt all the way through the first night, opening night. And opening night is actually tomorrow. And so
Yes,
I want
it
to
is.
thank you for taking this time to come in with us here at the Sidebar.
Of course.
And we'll talk about, what the chronicle is in your article, and it's time stamped essentially. 3 a.m., 5 a.m., and it's you and it's Omi are basically the key players. And there are ballet dancers. Now, who are some of the ballet dancers?
Some of the ballet dancers. We have Sarah, who is a very, very talented woman. She is very flexible, as all ballet dancers must be, but she is extra so.
And there is something special about Sarah.
Yes, she has 6 toes on her right foot.
She has 6 toes, but tell us about the big toe.
The big toe is very oversized, and it allows her to grab onto poles and other things like a sloth. And so she can hang upside down as if she were a sloth or a bat.
And you've incorporated her unique talent into your act. Now, Peer Gynt doesn't necessarily call for a ballet dancer to be hanging upside down, but you've modified it.
I wanted to make a mark on the show that would be different from anything that anyone has seen before, and I think I have done it with Sarah, the Batwoman.
Now, tell us about Peer Gynt, just a quick background so we can get into Sarah's role specifically. But what is Peer Gynt?
Peer Gynt is about a man who goes about in his life looking for true love, and he never really finds it. He walks away from his mother. He walks away from his could have been wife. He walks away from multiple people who loved him just to find what is truly home when he had it the entire time. And Sarah is involved in one point in the Hall of the Mountain King. It is a very important part of the play, and it is music is bright and everything is hitting strong, and then Sarah descends down, and she has 3 capes that she unfurls as she comes down.
The 3 capes signifying morning, noon, and night?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it is important that she come down when she come down, because there is a break in the music, and Sarah descends, and it is the rebirth and death all at once, and you feel everything that happens in the time that it happens, and then she sings the Song of Bats.
And you chronicle that Sarah is always the first one in, the first ballet dancer. She is sort of the tone setter of the tribe, and seems like you're hardest on her. Now, you have some unorthodox methods of getting the ballet dancer to do exactly what you want. I know. Yes. I couldn't do this. I know. Yes. I'm almost afraid to think about how I would react if I were in Sarah's shoes, as big as they are. And you're hanging her upside down, and you've invented the harness that you're hanging her upside down in.
Which is not needed. Her toe is that strong.
And you made her sign off on a waiver, it sounds like, because Sarah is committed, and she's a professional. She's a Juilliard-trained ballet dancer. But you have these rocks that you throw at her. I shouldn't say throw. You explain it. It's you heat them up, and Omi is sort of there holding the bag, and so Sarah has some bruises on her. But you say to thrive in the ballet, you must go through excruciating pain.
True.
And you have actually highlighted and underlined excruciating. And you spelled it. You spelled it a little differently, but that's fine.
Excruciating.
Exactly.
What you must know is those rocks are symbols of the pain and misery that we must go through to be good artists. And what you also do not know is the rocks also have maggots inside of them.
Oh.
Because if the rocks stick to you, if they burn to your skin, then the maggots will start to get you as well.
And is it a specific type of rock? Where is that found?
It is a magma rock from Iceland. I got it, and I saw it, and I knew that I needed it.
And you were able to get it through customs. That seems like it would be quite an arduous process.
I have a very big bag.
Big bag.
Big bag. I hide a lot of stuff in bag.
And this issue really hits close to home because our researcher, the Internati Harper, was recently trapped under a big pile of rocks while skiing in the Himalayas, and luckily she made it, but she lost part of her tongue, and now she can't pronounce the letter S.
That is very unfortunate. S is one of my favorite letters.
Top 5, I would think.
Top 5 for sure.
Okay, so you have Sarah the Batwoman, and Sarah is hanging upside down, and Sarah is an integral part of the production of Peer Gynt. Now, who else do you have? What are some of the other characters? Who are the key players here?
We have Scottsdale. That is what we call him. He is a Scotsman. His name is Dale. He is from Scotland. I do not know much of his story, but he is so talented. When he jumps up off the floor, it is as if he is not raising himself, but the earth is going down underneath him. He pushes down, and the world moves. He moves the earth feet below him, his toes, his body, his legs, everything is powerful. His posture, it's so raw and real, and I have never seen anything like it before.
And his character's name, of course, is Jellybean.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I suppose, how does, because Jellybean wasn't in the original production, but you've added Jellybean, and apparently
another addition to make my mark on the epic story of Peer Gynt.
And what I'm told is that you've never heard of jelly beans until you came to New York City, and there's a funny story where you found a jelly bean on the subway, and sort of hilarity ensued.
Yes. Well, I found a jelly bean on the subway, and I thought it was a small miscolored cockroach, and so I went to smash it, but then it slipped out from my toe, and so I kept going down the subway car, smashing on other people's toes, and then I smashed on a homeless man's toes, and then he started to yell at me, and then he threw up on me.
And I see. Okay, I see. I paused for a second because I was trying to make the gap, but Vomit Face is the next character. And who plays Vomit Face? Because you basically have the pick of the litter of the creme de la creme of the ballet dancers.
Yes, I do.
People would kill to be in your production, and your face is everywhere around the city.
I believe people have.
Somebody I'm sure has.
Like this next one, Rochelle Stepanopolich. She is the one who is Vomit Face. And I know some people they are insulted by how I have changed ballet, but I believe that ballet needs a reformation in order to survive this age of Netflix and Hulu and the internet. You understand? Live theater is not as powerful as it once was, or it is still powerful, but not as well renowned. And I believe bringing Vomit Face, every night, everyone in the company sticks fingers down their throats in a ritualistic sacrifice.
And this is one of your patented techniques, is that everybody must vomit 3 times a day.
You must vomit 3 times a day, right. And especially once before performance.
Now tell me about the force feeding.
That is something that works into the diets. I believe that you have to intake a certain amount of calories in order to expel a certain amount of calories. So I will sit people in chairs or when they're asleep and shove different foods, sausages, kale, Brussels sprouts, and my favorite, slightly raw salami into their mouths.
I see. But you now you pull it out before it's digested. You just want them to taste it, right? You want them because you want the ballet dancers to remain hungry until opening night.
I want them to be able to sense victory and sense their achievements, but then have them be pulled away at the last minute so that they remember that they're here to live to suffer.
Now tell me about your lead, Sharp Nipples.
Sharp Nipples. Yes, that is... I do not even want to tell you who it is because they do such a good job. You cannot tell if it is a man or a woman.
So you won't tell me who Sharp Nipples is?
I will not tell you who Sharp Nipples is.
Now this isn't the first Sharp Nipples.
No.
When you took over production, you were handed a different dancer who was handpicked by the former choreographer, and you promptly fired who? What was the name of that dancer?
That dancer. Oh, I will not forget Annabelle Stevens.
Annabelle Stevens. And you had a sort of a harsh dismissal of Annabelle.
Yes. You see, I believe Annabelle fell in love with me, which is a normal thing in the dancing world, but it was important that we stay professional. And also, I did not like how she danced. So I insulted her and her family, and I put a curse on her, and I believe that she is now living homeless in a trailer park in Colorado somewhere.
Oh. Well, our researcher, the Enchanted Harper, I believe is from Colorado, and I believe her family once was hit by a trailer, so there's some sort of connection there. Right, Addie? She's nodding yes. She would say yes. She would say yes,
the
but
letter S
right, it would sound like ye.
I will say it for you. Yeah.
I see. She's smiling. She.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, she knows.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad I can make you smile in turn.
Okay, so the main love story here in Peer Gynt is between Sharp Nipples and Vomit Face. And I apologize, Scott's Dale. In the original Peer Gynt, he's a lefty.
Yes.
So tell me about shifting sort of tones. It's not just the strength from the left or the right, different hemispheres of the brain. It literally changes the entire tone of the production.
It changes the tone, it changes the choreography, it changes a lot. I believe in order to maintain the sanctity of dance, we have to be able to change what makes it dance.
And you live a left lifestyle.
I only do things left.
I
turn left. I eat left. I use my left hand and foot. I have done away with my right hand and foot.
Right. You're famed for. I'm looking at you right now through video conference, and your left arm is much bigger than your right.
Yes.
You keep your right in your pocket. You're not exactly Bob Doling it. You don't have anything to hold on to. But if I could see your hand, oh, that is a skinny hand for our listeners. He has a very skinny hand. It's almost
like little baby.
It's like a baby hand, and no, but this allows you to concentrate solely on your left, and this is intentional. And now this has been a style that's been adopted by other choreographers. Now this is your first time choreographing.
Yes.
But
I have made a mark.
But you've been dancing. You started dancing
without even doing it.
Exactly right. You started dancing with the Russian National Ballet at age 12.
Yes.
And what was that production? What was your first production?
Swan Lake. That was the first one that I was in Russia, and it was a beautiful, beautiful time. And that is the time that I decided to become all left. Before, as a child, I thought I was ambi, but I realized that was not who I was. I was only left. And I was shown this way by Sergei Volpinsky. He was another star on Swan Lake. And I realized that in that moment, Swan Lake was my, North Star.
Now,
my guiding light.
Now, you're saying this, but I feel like you're glossing over a major detail, and I think a really pivotal moment in your life of why you go left was that. Tell us what happened on the third production, on the third night of the production. The entire right side of the audience burned alive, and the left side stayed, and that stuck with you.
I have to tell you something. I have never told anyone this before. It was on the third movement. It was a double spin to the right, and I spun a count too early. And I hit another dancer in the face. Abernov. And
the Abernov?
The Abernov.
Wow.
And he stumbled with a candle into the curtain, and it lit on fire. But then he stumbled into an audience member, and she lit on fire. And then she ran around, and her dog was set on fire. And then everyone in the right side of the audience burned alive, and it was because my right hand hit him just a moment too soon.
That must have been harrowing.
So, after that, I decide my right hand, my right side, has done so much damage to the world. It does not need more.
And yet you choose to keep it.
I do.
And that is to remind you of that fateful day.
Because life is suffering.
Vodka or borscht?
Huh. Do I have to choose?
I suppose you don't have to. Have you ever put vodka in your borscht?
Have I ever woken up on a bright sunny day and asked myself, why is it not wet?
And that is a trick question because there are no bright sunny days in Russia.
Ah, very smart man you are, Sebastian.
Well, I got your gift,
Very
and thank you
smart
for
man.
the vodka.
Now I the borscht next week.
Now I bring up vodka and I bring up borscht obviously because we talked about your unorthodox training methods, and we talked about hanging Sarah the Batgirl upside down, and she's whether she likes to or not, she has to adapt to your methods to be in your production. Mm-hmm. Now tell us about some of your proprietary methods that you're making your dancers go through and that you're chronicling in Tanets, your contribution to Dance Magazine. Forgive me for my pronunciation.
Not a problem.
When I was a little boy in Chile, if you mispronounced a word, you were dragged out into the donkey paddock and you were made to eat hay with the locals.
Yes, that sounds like Tuesday night in Russia.
Yes, well, Tuesdays were a luxury where I was from.
Ah, I see.
We went right to Wednesday.
Well, some of the things I do with I have my own company, of course, Latayushi. It means in English flying, and I like to have the feeling of flying. One of the less normal things that I do by everyone else's standards is I cover all of my dancers every morning. You wake up covered in body paint, in silver metallic body paint.
And when you say wake up, you like to wake each dancer up individually.
Mm-hmm.
You actually go to you were going to their apartments, but you found that it was taking too long. So now you make them sleep all in one room.
Yes.
And
Barracks.
The barracks. And where are the barracks?
Mm.
Where are the barracks located?
Where? They're located underneath the dance studio. So if you are sleeping in the barracks and someone is dancing up on the studio, you can hear it and you cannot sleep.
And this is at the New York City Ballet?
Yes.
Okay.
This is underneath, underground.
And I'm told there's a bowling alley under there.
There is a bowling alley.
And
it is also a long abandoned subway station. So every once in a while you have rats coming through and air from a passing subway station that smells of death.
And I'm told it's territorial. I know ballet dancers are very territorial people. They're very cliquey. And it seems like other ballet troupes sometimes try to invade at night, so there always has to be somebody keeping watch while they're sleeping in the subway. Now that takes their toll on their dancing, is from what you've been reporting. So you sort of want to weed out the weaklings in the troupe and replace them with strong people. And you've lost one or two dancers. Now tell me about the dancers that you've lost and how they've been replaced.
Well, Ben, a nice boy from Iowa.
You say nice, but you weren't so fond of him in this article.
No, I say nice, but nice will not get you far in ballet. In ballet, you need to be hard and mean, and this boy was nice. And he was on watch his first night in the underground, and he got snatched. And I do not know who took him, but I am glad for that.
Now, he left behind one lone shoe, and you wear that shoe around your neck as a symbol to the others, sort of a warning.
Keep what you kill.
Right. And you wrote nice on it.
Some people take it the wrong way.
Okay, now that was Ben, and who was the other?
The other one? Sheila.
And what happened to Sheila?
Sheila came over from Australia thinking that she would make it well in New York. And she was also in the underground, but actually she was with her own people. And what happened was she made a challenge to someone. There are dance-offs. We have dance-offs in the ballet where you can challenge someone for their position in the show.
I see.
She had a dance-off, but it was a martial dance-off, which ends in the death of one person. And so they danced, and Sheila was utterly sacrificed and ripped apart limb from limb, the screaming echoing down all of the chambers.
That sounds horrifying.
It was necessary.
What about Sheila's family? Did she have a family?
We sent her home a shoe.
Both shoes?
Just the one. The other one I wear actually over my right shoulder.
Oh, I see. And what does that say? I can't make that out.
Oh, it says better.
Better, but not best.
Not best.
Not best.
Better.
Now, I'm told when you give a compliment, there is no great, there is no good work, there is no outstanding, there is what it is. It is
bad and better.
Bad and better.
Yes.
So there's always room for improvement.
There's always room for improvement. Even I have room for improvement. There is no perfection. Art is the chase of perfection. And anytime I see someone do a triple jump or do exactly as I told them, I say, better. Your mother is still ashamed of you, and you don't deserve to go home, but better.
Let's go back to your article a little bit. I want to go through a timeline. I want to go through one of the days. This is one of the more interesting days of recent. This was about 3 weeks ago, and you remember it well. You wrote it yourself.
Yes,
so I want to go through. You wake up at 3 a.m. I want to go 3 a.m. I want to go 6 a.m. And I want to go through sort of some of the characters. We have some of the major players that we've covered, and some of the lesser ones in Peer Gynt. So 3 a.m. You start off.
I awake.
Right.
I only get 3 hours of sleep every night. I go to bed strictly at midnight. I wake up strictly at 3.
And you chronicle your wake-up regiment. And tell us about that.
On this day that I chronicled, I took sour cream and onion separately and put it on my face in order to make my eyes water and make my skin exfoliate.
Oh, now this is actually the next day. I was talking about when you were out of sour cream. You weren't very happy about it.
This is true.
Now tell us what you used instead, and tell us how that affected the rest of your day as we go from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m.?
I took some toothpaste and put that on my face, and it was too minty and fresh.
Because it's American toothpaste, and you said in Russia.
In Russia, it's much harsher and smells less minty.
There's no mint.
There's no mint at all, and it is just clean fluoride. Your teeth are clean, but you do not have that smell. So I was in a bad mood, and in order to try and wash that away, I put hydrogen peroxide on my face.
And you nicknamed it Ghost Walrus.
Mm-hmm. Because you look as if you are a ghost, but you sound as if you are a walrus. Like, har, har, har. That is how it feels.
I see. Okay, now 5 a.m., you've gone to the barracks, and some of the lesser players, Sarah the Bat is already up. She's already up, but
she is always there before me. I commend her for it, but I hate her for it.
And then there's Hammerfist.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hammerfist was up, but he wasn't up to your standards.
No.
And
on
you squared off with Hammerfist.
He had shown up. He had one shoe untied. He has his hair tousled. I have a very strict regiment of your appearance. You should at all times look as if you're about to dance a performance at that moment. And he had just woken up and did not look perfect. And so I told him that he should get off of my studio. And he refused.
So you threw him out and you actually replaced him for the day with his understudy, Burger Farts.
Burger Farts, yes. Kim. I do not remember her name. She was not good.
I have it right here. It's Carol.
Carol. Yes. She was not good. She was bad. I replaced her and immediately regretted it because she had a big smile and she looked as if she wanted to please everyone all the time. She was not here to work. She was here to be a dog. Be a dog as to a master.
And so you dismissed her and you replaced her with Hot Noodles.
And Hot Noodles worked for the day.
Just the day, though.
Just the day. Then I have to bring back Hammerfist because Hammerfist is an integral part of the show.
Now, this is the day. This is now 7. This was 7 a.m.
Yes. I had a full hour just going through different people.
Okay. Now we're in 7 a.m. We're in the studio space. We're rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
And tell us what Vomit Face said to you that set you off, because this was until noon. From 7 to noon, Vomit Face said one thing, and it was the one thing that you don't tell Dimitri, but she said it. What was
she
that?
told me that she felt a little bit tired. And I said, "You don't know tired. You are not a person that knows tired." And I grabbed her and I put her in a bed and I wrapped her in a blanket. And for 3 hours, I stood over her as she tried to sleep. But she could not, because I was standing over her and watching her. And when Dimitri watches you do something, you are incapable of doing the thing. And if everybody watches her sleep, she knows. And she cannot sleep. She is awake.
And you made Sharp Nipples cry.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about that.
I squeezed his nipples.
Annabelle Stevens.
I squeezed her nipples.
Their nipples.
There. Sorry.
It's okay. Now tell us about Ripe Diaper.
Ripe Diaper. I tell you, he is going to be the next thing. Because there is nothing more ripe than that diaper.
And where did you find him?
I found him under a bridge. I found him under a bridge.
In New Jersey?
In New Jersey.
What was he doing under there?
Well, he was looking at that moment for his lost cat. He could not find his lost cat.
And you were with Omi?
I was with Omi, and Omi, she wiped my sweat. She looked at me. She has giant glasses, and she looked at me, and her eyes are magnified, and she said, "Dimitri, you must find this cat for this man." So I found the cat.
And this cat is not part of the production.
This cat is part of the production. This cat actually hangs down from Batwoman's teeth.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the part for the cat?
The cat is to be there to meow into the darkness. And the cat actually swings back and forth. The cat picked up the choreography faster than I've seen anything ever. It was brilliant. And the cat, as she lets go of the tail in her jaws, the cat hits the ground, shakes itself, and then pees a little bit, and leaves the stage.
What if there was no more ballet?
What if there was no more ballet?
What would you do?
Well, that harkens the question of what would replace the ballet.
What if nothing replaced the ballet?
It was just done. No more dancing, no more.
What if nobody danced anymore? What if there was no more dancing, Dimitri, and everything you've worked for your entire life was gone? What would you do?
I think I would walk to the edge of a bridge. I would pee off the edge of it first.
What if you couldn't walk? What if you couldn't pee?
Then I would crawl.
What if you couldn't crawl?
Then I would cry.
What if you had no eyes?
Then I would scream into the night.
What if nobody heard?
Then I would sing a song that would make me feel as if I were a child again.
What if there were no more children?
Then I would use my ears to move myself upstairs to a roof somewhere so I could hear the world outside.
What if there were no more roofs?
Then I would go underground to the subway and I would sit there and I would hum a tune in order to make myself feel warm.
What if there was only cold?
Then I would use my teeth. I would bite into the ground and I would eat my way through the ground to the molten lava core of the earth and then through and then go back to Russia.
What if you were in the sky?
Then I would be falling, and as I was falling, I would use my eyebrows and wag them up and down very quickly in order to get myself to fly.
I think that's an excellent idea.
Yes.
What if I told you you weren't choreographing the ballet, that this was all a ruse, all a reality show just to laugh at you, Dimitri? What if I told you that?
I'm still choreographing a ballet, yes?
What if I told you yes, but I didn't mean it?
Well, I guess I would have to choreograph and then wait until the one moment where the cameras come out and crush every single dream that I've ever had. And
what if you never found out?
But the show went on?
The show went on, but it was all a ruse. What would you do? How would you think?
I would be a victim of my own success, and I would continue to make art.
What if you only found out that it wasn't a success? You thought the show was real, but it wasn't. And then you found out it wasn't a success. You found out it was a total failure, and it was your fault, and it wasn't even real. What would you do?
I am going to have my premiere tonight. You know this, right?
You're going to have your premiere, and it's going to be a great success. We all know what a talented choreographer you are.
For argument's sake, of course.
Well, you say for argument's sake, but I say for fact's sake. What if it didn't exist, and we just had you on, believing that you were choreographing? What if you weren't even in New York, Dimitri?
Well, in that case, I would have to be in some sort of a hologram or a video program.
Okay. Maybe we took it too far. You're in New York, Dimitri, but you're not choreographing the ballet. What are you doing? What are you doing if you're not choreographing Pure Gynt at the New York Ballet?
At that point, I will have spent all of my life working towards a lie, and I I would collapse into a cloud of smoke because I do not believe that I would be able to go on. I would turn to my Omi. I would turn to Omi Yeltsin and ask her for help.
What if Omi wasn't who she said she was? What would it take to tumble you into madness, Dimitri? What would it take? Would it take an interview on the sidebar? Would it take...
I do not like where this is going now.
Would it take the director of the New York Ballet flying you out first class from Moscow, upending your entire life?
It was only for 9 months.
When was the last time you talked to your family, Dimitri? Are they safe? Do you know?
I do not. It has been when you were taken into the ballet, into the Russian National Ballet, it takes your life over, and you cannot really, you do not understand how much time it takes in order to become what I am.
You spend so much time with these people, Dimitri, and you wonder if you ever really know yourself, if you ever really know anyone. You've given us character names, but you've been vague, and you've said things like burger farts and hot noodles and sharp nipples and vomit face. Now, to the layman, that sounds crazy.
But this is my art. This is what I work with, and there are sharp nipples and burger farts and vomit face, and
of course there are, Dimitri. Of course
yes.
there are. In your mind, there's a vomit face.
But
there's
they
a hot
exist.
noodle.
People are coming to see them tonight. People are paying money to come and see them.
Now, I understand it. I understand that. I'm not going to sway you. I'm here in Chicago, and you're in New York, and
But are you in Chicago?
Oh, I'm in Chicago, and
Are
you're in New York.
Chicago, or is all of this a lie that you have propagated in order to make yourself feel good?
Well, Dimitri, I have the pay stubs to back it up that this is not a lie. Now, I'm under the assumption that you've been paid, but yet when our researcher at the Cincinnati Harper looked into your employment history, they couldn't find Peer Gynt playing anywhere. Now nobody is questioning that you are not a ballet dancer. You are obviously a ballet dancer. You are obviously a choreographer. But in this circumstance, Dimitri, what if you weren't?
Then I must either be the greatest con man that has ever existed in order to make a ballet and get all of these people to donate me money, or I am in a psychiatric hospital at the moment, or I am part of a psychiatric experiment to see what would happen if you gave a crazy person this much power.
What does it take for a man to question everything he knows?
I believe if those that I love truly turned on me in some heinous and unspeakable way, and if, like you say, Omi is not who I think she is, that would make me question.
What if no one ever loved you, Dimitri?
That is a possibility.
What if I told you nobody loves you, Dimitri?
That is a possibility.
Rhythm or dance?
Rhythm.
Ankles or toes?
Toes.
Vodka or borscht?
Vodka.
Dimitri is the choreographer of Peer Gynt, which may or may not be premiering tomorrow night at the New York Ballet. His contribution to Dance Magazine is Tanets, which I'm sure I'm mispronouncing. Dimitri, thank you for being here or for not being here. Coming up next week on the Sidebar, Ferris wheels. What if you just rolled one down the mountain? I'm Sebastian Morales, saying yodelay hee hoo, hee hoo.